Okay, we're back with our Easter dinner, and while the Cornish hens are cooking, now we're gonna make the dressing. First of all, remember I told you now, I make dressing from cornbread. I don't put any sliced bread in it at all. I make it from cornbread. First of all, this is me personally, don't trip. I love Jiffy. Oprah loves bread. I love Jiffy because Jiffy cornbread got a sweet taste to it. Now I grew up on Jiffy because my oldest sister Paulette, I think when she was cooking for all of us on the days that my mother had her to cook, she used to cook Jiffy, and I think that's where I got turned on to Jiffy. So I love Jiffy when I make corn muffins, when I make cornbread, when I make hot cornbread in a skillet, I use Jiffy. So I took my Jiffy and I made cornbread. Now, I'm getting ready to make my dressing. You're just gonna take your cornbread, just take your cornbread. It don't matter how you do it. Well, gee, can't get it out of there. It don't matter how you do it. You can take your cornbread because you're getting ready to make dressing with it. So you're just gonna scoop it all out. Throw it in your pan, like so. Okay. Now, you're gonna take your cornbread, and this is what you're gonna do. And I cook a lot, and you may have noticed in other videos, with my hands. If you're scared of the food, if you're scared of using your hands, that's okay. But I use my hands to get into the nitty gritty. And you're just gonna break up the cornbread. And remember, this is your dressing, and your stock is going to come from the juices of your Cornish hen once your Cornish hen start making all those juices that I showed you earlier. That's how you're going to wet your dressing and get it ready to cook. Because once this mixture is all done and you put it in your pan, you're going to bake it for about 350. You're gonna bake it like you would bake a pie, like you would bake a cake, like you would bake. That's how you're gonna bake your dressing. And you're going to know it's done when you can take a solid knife and you can stick it in the middle of your dressing, and if it comes out clean, that means it's done. But if you take the knife and stick it in your dressing and it comes out a little wet on the knife, that means cook a little bit more. So you want to cook it till you stick the knife in the center and it comes out clean. Now, you probably want to know why I'm doing this. This is to get some of the lumps, bumps, crumbs, so you don't have a lot of knots and stuff. And then some of the little knots will go away also, because remember, I use all the cornbread. I use the ends and everything. And a lot of it will go away when you make it wet. Because this is right now, remember, we're doing all dry ingredients. And I'm not going to add the other stuff until it gets nice and all that, and then I'll show you how. But this is how you prep it. You're prepping. You see the consistency of it? You see that? This is dressing. Now, the same ingredients, because I'm very basic in my ingredients. I probably use the same thing. I put garlic in everything. So I probably use the same thing on all my meats and everything. So I don't use a bunch. If it works for me and I like the taste of it and all that. But this is how you want to get your cornbread. You notice I don't put it in. That's what the modern people do. I'm way back from the day, so I don't break up my cornbread. I don't use a blender. I don't use a food processor. I do it all the old-fashioned way before there was blenders and food processors. I never saw my mother in the kitchen blending with a food processor and all that. She used her hands. So this is how we do it, and this is how you just get it real coarse and get all the knots and lumps out. Look at that. See that? See that? This is going to be your dressing. Then, what I did, well, before I do that, let me do this. Now I'm going to add a drop of garlic powder. These are all my dry ingredients. I'm going to put a little garlic powder in here. Okay? I'm not going to put any salt because you're gonna have that from the juices and all that. You'll have garlic too, but I needed a little bit more garlic. Then I'm gonna add a little bit more dry poultry seasoning in here, dry ingredients, and everybody knows, most black folks know, you do not have dressing without sage. You have to have sage in your dressing or it's not dressing. You have to have sage. It's a black people staple, must. I put tons and tons and tons of sage in mine. I like a lot of sage, so I just sprinkle it in. Tons and tons of sage. And it's never too much. And again, measure it, do it to taste if if you're not experienced with how to do sage. But I put tons and tons of sage in. Now, the other thing I do is to make it a little thicker, I add a drop of garlic herb. These are bread crumbs. So it just helps it with the consistency. So I'm just gonna add just a little garlic breadcrumbs. And that just helps with the consistency because you're also gonna be putting your stock in there from the Cornish hens and everything. So now I'm going to add bell pepper and onion, and that's all I want to put in mine. So I'm not, some people put chicken giblet and all that other kind of stuff. I'm going to put bell pepper, onion, and I add a little ground sausage. Okay, so I took my bell pepper, so you can see this. I took my bell pepper and I took my onion and some ground sausage and I pre-blanched it in the skillet. So, and I did it with a little olive oil, and I did that for about 3 minutes so the sausage won't be totally raw. Bell pepper, onion, sausage, okay? You're gonna take that and you're gonna add this to your dressing mix. Now, look at that. These are all your dry ingredients. Then, take your hand, mix it up. Mix up your sage, mix up your bell pepper. These are your dry ingredients. Mix it up. And if you, too bad it's not smell-o-vision, because that smells good. I'm gonna add a little bit more sage, because I just know I need more sage. And some people do this, because I know people that do it to their greens too. Some people put sugar in their dressing or whatever. But the thing about Jiffy is already sweet. When you cook Jiffy cornbread, it's already sweet, which is why I like it. And it's sweet enough that I wouldn't add no more sugar to it or anything like that. However Jiffy tastes, that's how my dressing will taste, because I'm not adding no sugar to it. And then you mix up, this is all your dry ingredients. When we come back, I'm going to show you how I take the juices from my Cornish hen, and that's going to be in the next video, and mix it all together, put it in my baking dish. Happy Easter!